Hey, it's Cobra here at MaddenGuides.com, and for this Madden NFL 23 defensive plays video breakdown, we're going to call this one, "This Blitz Setup Screams Heat even if the running back stays in the pass block." And what I want to show is another setup where we go ahead and hot route a defender into a hook zone that allows him to get pressure up the gut pretty darn quick, and I think you guys will enjoy this one. Now, I've got a couple different setups, so what I'm going to do here is break this down into 3 videos, so just kind of play along with it and take a look at these videos, each one of them, because each one of them kind of does the same thing, but there's a hot route adjustment's a little bit different, and I just don't want to make this a 20-25 minute video. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and get right on into it and just show you how to get this set up, and it's a real simple one that I think you guys are going to enjoy. Here is a look at the play diagram and some play info for the silver shoot pinch. You'll find this one out, the nickel 3-3 will. The personnel is 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 5 defensive backs. The coverage type is man. The coverage shell is cover 0. The blitz type is man blitz. Gap pressures from the B and C gaps. Pass rushers are 6 and the pass defenders are 5. You will find this play from only 2 playbooks, which is the Bills and the Cowboys. And for this video breakdown, we're going to go ahead and use the Cowboys playbook. Before we actually get into the blitz setup, I want to show you the one substitution that I'm going to make for this particular play I'm about to show here. And I've already shown this before as far as with the speed that I look for at the nose tackle position. Now, again, I realize if you're getting ran on, you probably don't want to have a smaller defensive end lined up the nose tackle position. I realize that. So this might be a situational blitz. Maybe you make this sub and then you sub the guy back out. With that said, let's go ahead and just take a look at the sub real quick here. And for me, it's going to be this guy right here. Now, this is Sam Williams of the Cowboys. Now, he has an 89 speed rating. And so the faster the defensive end that I have lined up at the nose tackle. Now, hey, if you got a fast nose tackle in there, say he's 80, I think there's a couple in there that are around 80, 82 speed. That's fine too. You don't have to have an 89 speed guy lined up at this position. But for me, that's what I'm going to do. So he's lined up at the nose tackle spot. So make sure you put him in here, regardless of whatever team you have. The faster the player, the better chance that you're going to have of getting pressure quickly on the quarterback. So I do want to point that out when making this substitution here. Now that I went ahead and made that one sub, let's go ahead and get right onto the field and take a look at this blitz setup here. And as you look at your screen right here, it's going to be this play again. It's called silver shoot pinch. Find it out, that nickel 3-3 will formation. I mentioned I'm going to use the Cowboys playbook on the defensive side of things. Now, as far as on the offensive side, let's go ahead and run this against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playbook. We'll do that since the Cowboys are playing the Bucs this weekend. And what we're going to run here from the Bucs playbook is going to be this play right here. It's called gun bunch halfback strong 𝗦𝗃. Now, later in the video, I'm going to show this particular setup, how it works against, say, the running back staying in the pass block. And I also want you guys to remember that I've got a couple other setups I'm going to be showing here later in the week that are basically the same defense, but a little bit of a modification as far as the way the split setup is shown. And I'll kind of go a little bit more into detail about that later in the week. But for right now, let's go ahead and get right on into it. Now, as I pointed out here, a lot of times what I like to do is just go ahead and run the blitz and just show it to you guys without making any adjustments. So let's just go ahead and do that real quick here. And there it is right there. The only thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and call press coverage here and base align. And there it is right there. So let's just go ahead and run this and see what happens here as far as with the blitz. There you can see right there, you get some edge pressure coming from the nickelback and possibly from that linebacker over there on the other side. So for example, a lot of times the pressure is going to come from these 2 guys if you don't want to make any adjustments at all, which is great. That's all up to you. You know, some of the other things guys might do here with this setup here, something they might try to do is maybe bring this guy up a little closer to the line of scrimmage. Now just keep in mind, I know he's covering the tight end, but maybe they'll bring him over here and then allow him to go over cover a tight end. They might do something like that. There's some other setups you can do with this to create some pressure, but the general thing with this particular defense, as far as with this setup, you don't have to do anything at all, and you're still going to get some pressure on the quarterback. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the actual setup here. Before we actually hit the field, we got to make one coach adjustment. And I've talked about this already before. I'm going to keep mentioning it to you guys as I do these breakdowns. Now, the one that we got to do here is go into the zone drops and change the hooks to 0. So go ahead and change those to 0 if you're following along here to get this blitz to work. All right, let's actually get into the blitz setup. I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to run this. So the first thing you want to do is hit base align. As you can see on your screen, of course, that is optional. If you already have it on, you wouldn't even have to worry about it. The next thing you want to do is go ahead and call press coverage. And there, right there, that's also optional as well. These next two steps I'm gonna show you have to do. You're gonna go ahead and take control of the nose tackle, which is lined up here. He's lined up between the left guard and the left tackle. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and put him into a bluff blitz, and then you want to slide him over just one notch. Now, you might want to play around with this. You can also slide him over 2 notches if you so choose. I'm going to do it with just 1 notch for this video breakdown. And that's pretty much it as far as the setup goes. Let's go ahead and run this. I'm going to show you what's going to happen with this one, and then we'll go into instant replay and we'll talk about it just a little bit more. So let's go ahead and run it. And right there, you can see I get some nice pressure on the quarterback. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go through instant replay and just kind of show you what I do on this one to make this work as far as getting that pressure on the quarterback. And it's definitely a nice blitz as far as getting pressure. Now, the first thing, as I pointed out earlier, I went ahead and slid this guy over 1 notch to the left. Now, that's the nose tackle. And remember, we talked about having somebody who has some speed. That's what we're looking for here. So when that ball is snapped, when we set those coach adjustments to 0, he's literally not even going to drop back. He's going to drop into that area there, more than likely. So as you look at your screen right there, that's where he's going to drop into. Now, you allow him to do that. Let the computer control him. Even though you're in control of him, let the computer do its thing. And then once he gets into that area, you're going to see a gap that's going to be created a lot of times. See how this guy right here, as you look at it, you see how this left guard is now looking to block this direction. He does not see this guy as a threat, because remember, the computer thinks he's dropping back in the hook zone. So what's going to happen is he's going to look to block this direction here. And the other thing is the same thing over here as you're looking at this guy right here, this center. He's got a lot of pressure coming over here. So he's got the blocks over in this direction here, because there's going to be 3 defenders that are rushing the quarterback as you look at it, that are all going to be coming in this direction at some point here as you look at it. So you got 3 guys coming in here that are going to be rushing. So he has to go over there. And that's going to create this big gap, as you can see on your screen. That's pretty darn big, to be quite honest with you. And then at that point, you take control of this guy. So you take control of the nose tackle, and then you simply just rush the quarterback. You should have a pretty big gap there as far as getting pressure on the quarterback, such as what you see on the screen right there. So you can see that this one gets in pretty quick, and it's definitely a blitz that's worth doing as far as getting that pressure. I mean, it's within a couple seconds you're getting in there, so it's pretty quick. Now, I'm going to go ahead and rewind this, because something else I want to talk about as you look at this one. Now, this isn't always going to be the case with this guy right here. On occasion, you may see him blitz off this corner, and then he may come around here and get pressure coming on the quarterback. He may shoot through the B gap on occasion. And one of the things you can do, and I didn't do it for this breakdown here, but for example, one of the things you might want to do is this guy right here, which is Parsons. If you got an X factor, you may want to move him over to this direction over here, put him on that spot there. Or if you want, you could put him over here, put Parsons in here as an X factor. Just kind of play around with that. If you have an X factor, that's something you can do. We'll call that a pro tip, but that's something that you could do right there to increase the chances of getting pressure on the quarterback. So I want to point that out to you. Of course, another option be, if you look at it here, something else we could do, you can move Parsons over here. So there's a lot of different things you could do with him as far as bringing pressure on the quarterback. But at any rate, you guys can see that this one does bring some pressure on the quarterback pretty consistently. Let's go ahead and do that while we're in here and make that sub, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to move him over where Lawrence is lined up at. Actually, let's not do Lawrence, because Lawrence is a pretty stud guy. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and move him where I believe Flowers is lined up at. Let's move him where Flowers is lined up at. And I'm going to get him out of there for right now. And then I'm going to move Parsons out right here. I'm going to bring in, let's bring in Cox. He's pretty fast himself right there. He's a pretty fast linebacker. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring Parsons in that spot right there. Let's see what Parsons can do is from that spot right there, rather than having him in man coverage and wasting his pass rush abilities. So let's go back in this blitz one more time here. And we'll run this against this 𝗦𝗃, and then I'll just show you guys the setup. There's a setup right there. That's how simple that setup is. It's pretty easy as you look at it, and how quick I was able to do that. And you just slide them over a notch. So now we got Parsons lined up here. He can use that edge rush ability to try to help maybe increase and get some pressure on the quarterback. And there's that gap right there. Actually got caught up, but then I end up getting pressure coming from that linebacker. So that's kind of the setup right there. Let's do it one more time here. Like I said, you may get blocked, and that's fine. You know you're still going to get that pressure right there. So let's go ahead and do it one more time here with the setup here, and we'll see what happens with it. And then right there, you get that pressure on the quarterback. So at any rate, that's something you guys can do and play around with as far as with that. Now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and get into it where I show the running back staying in the pass block. All right, let's see what happens when the running back stays in the pass block when we run the nickel 3-3 will silver shoot pinch versus the, in this case, we'll run this against the gun bunch halfback strong Bucks flood. The running back does in fact stay in the pass block with this particular play, as you're going to look at your screen right here. So there he is. He's staying in the pass block, as you can see on your screen. He's right there as you look at it. So let's go ahead and just take a look at the blitz again. Let's go ahead and set it up real quick. I'm just going to go ahead through the steps real quick so you guys don't even have to listen to me, because you guys already know how to set that one up, right? So there it is. There's the setup. And let's just go ahead and run this and see what kind of pressure we can get on the quarterback right there. And right there, we still get the pressure as you look at it. We end up shooting through the gap, through that A gap with the nose tackle. Now, I can tell you this. Sometimes what may happen, actually a lot of times, more than likely what's going to happen is, rather than the running back looking to block out, if you look at it, he's looking over here to block that nickel back. A lot of times what he'll actually end up doing here, he'll block this guy. So one or two things are going to happen. He's going to block towards the nickel back side and try to block him. And then or he may end up trying to block the nose tackle, or I've seen him on other occasions, he may look to block that blitzing linebacker over there. So he's going to look to block one of those guys, but somebody else should get in. You still should get some consistent pressure on a quarterback with this particular setup that I'm showing here. It's pretty, like I said, it's pretty consistent here as far as bringing that pressure. And again, I'm going to go ahead and just run it real quick. And same thing, here's the setup again as you look at it. And definitely a defense worth taking a look at. Even if I got caught up, I'm still going to get some type of heat on this. On occasion, I may get blocked, which is fine, because I'm still going to get that pressure on the quarterback. Let's go ahead and do the same thing here. It's clearly a screen here. And go back over here and do the same thing. Got a lot going on here, trying to show you guys all the stuff that's going on here. But here it is. There's the setup. Let's see what happens here again with the setup. And then we're going to get that pressure right there. So there it is. This time, I didn't get pressure from the nose tackle, but I got pressure from the nickelback. Plus, remember we talked about moving Parsons to the spot that I did earlier with him on the edge there. He gets clearly in. So we get all kinds of pressure going on. The quarterback just doesn't have any time there. As you look at this one, we're going to get three guys are going to get home on this particular blitz based on some of the things I just did as far as the adjustments and moving guys around. But at any rate, that is the setup, guys, as far as with this particular blitz. Definitely worth taking a look at. It's a defense that I hope you guys enjoy this one, because there are a lot of other ones I've got to show. Now, this particular setup I just showed, I'm going to show a couple other setups that are very similar to this one and a couple more videos later in the week that I want you guys to check out if you guys don't mind doing that. And just hitting some thumbs up, post some comments if you guys like these blitz setups that I'm showing here from Madden NFL 23. Hey Madden gamers, if you enjoy this Madden video or any other video, please subscribe to the Madden Guides YouTube channel. And as always, thanks for watching and for your support.